Autopsy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love that opening.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What is going on? It's your boy, Preston, Fat Samurai Guy, back again with Kung Fu Santa himself, award-winning author. That's right, Ric Meyers, Hall of Famer, hanging out with your boy today and another episode of action film Autopsy. Yes, and we have a plethora to talk about today.
Ooh, a plethora.
And look at this already. Shogun fire. Look at that. Look at that. Brian saying hello to us. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you. Yeah, there he is. Kevin, how you doing, brother? Yeah, representing the Movie Dojo Army. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Just finished your book.
Which one? Which one?
I think he got the Kung Fu one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he got yeah.
Because I have a bunch of others. I'm just one's coming out in May.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Stay tuned. Severio, how you doing? Good to see everyone here. Oh, yes, we have a lot to discuss. Is it time to get a piece of Rick?
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
Oh, you want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
You got it!
Get a piece of Rick.
Still got a lot of stuff there, and new stuff being added every month because they have so much of my stuff. 45 pieces of art, 5 sacks of collectibles. So just keep checking out that Chimera Publishing on eBay. And if you see something you like, and you can always get in touch with me and say, oh, that's too much money. Can I get it for less? And I'll probably go, no. Yeah, no. I'll probably say yes, so don't worry about it.
Yes, that link is in the description box below. Make sure you guys check it out. Get a piece of Rick. And speaking of getting a piece of Rick, it was Films of Fury. Yes, that's what.
There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm amazed that it was written. It was written in 2010.
Oh my goodness!
I'm thinking of doing another book. I'm thinking of not on films because Ricky Baker and Keith, they have their new version of Hong Kong. Yeah. I think I was going to do a book on films seen through the Kung Fu filter. Because it turns out because I've been studying real Kung Fu for more than 20 years now, I probably see all these movies differently than virtually anyone else. Right. Yeah. I know more about real Kung Fu.
Copy that. That's Rose 40. Good to see you. Yes. I'm sucking it in. I'm sucking in the gut. Hopefully one day I will be at Rick status. I will be at Rick status. Kevin says I'm getting more into martial arts cinema and film, so it was a great read. Look at that. All right.
Well, remember, if you want martial arts cinema, you should read my 2 previous books, which were martial art movies and martial art movies from Bruce Lee to Jackie Chan and more. Films of Fury is a Kung Fu film book. It's not a martial art book. And I'll show you the difference. This is martial arts. This is Kung Fu.
Yes. And we'll be doing a top 10 soon. We'll have to discuss, me, Rick, and Frank, our top 10 Kung Fu films and a top 10 martial arts films. Yeah, that'll be coming soon to the channel at some point. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. But we got to get the shout-outs out of the way. We got to get the shout-outs out of the way.
I'm now looking forward to this more than me blabbering. This is, let's see it. Let's see those shout-outs.
All right. So it's a new segment I've added since last month. Giving the shout-outs for a lot of these films that you guys may have missed these. A few of these actually came out last year, but these are just for fun. Got to represent, support independent cinema and genre films. Let's get it.
wow, these are independent films. Look how great those look.
Yeah. I enjoyed all of those, so make sure you guys check those out. I threw in a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of action thrillers in there and a little bit of period piece, but they're all really entertaining. But Rick, you got to watch The Child.
I look forward to it.
You got to watch The Child. Brought to you by the almighty Well Go USA. And The Child is wild. But maybe on the next action film Autopsy, Rick, we could talk about 1% Warrior.
Oh, we definitely will. We definitely will.
Taksakaguchi film, the 1%er, also available from Well Go USA.
We're talking about two Well Go exclusives right away on this show. But I was meaning to ask you, if I wanted to watch those movies, do you put this somewhere we can watch them somewhere? Do you give us the links or whatever? Or
yeah, the links are always, when we do our videos, they're always in the description box below for Haya and Well Go USA website.
But how about some of those other independent titles you showed there? You have
those? Yeah. They're all on Amazon Prime.
Okay, all right.
Next time I'll put that in the next one.
Yeah, so I can watch them if I run out of things to watch. But in the meantime, speaking of Well Go, I'm not wearing my Well Go shirt tonight, and you'll know why by the end of this, I'm sure. But we got two Well Go titles, exclusives, came out early in the last day of February. We're on Leap Day. First, we already talked about this, but it came on officially onto Haya, and that is the Jackie Chan movie Haya. Ride On. I was going to say Rock On. It's Ride On, and this is very much a love letter by a guy named Larry Yang, who's a filmmaker who did a couple of movies before, but he wanted to do a movie with Jackie. So he sent Jackie a script, and Jackie said, not good enough. And Larry went, oh, and Jackie said, I'll help you. And they worked together in a month and came up with the script for Ride On. And it is a love letter to Jackie Chan and his career. In the very first sequence, I saw this wonderful little homage to the tower scene in Project A, where Jackie falls off the clock tower. Yeah. There's an homage to it in the very first shot because he's playing a stuntman who is retired and dealing with all sorts of problems, but mostly because he had a horse that he used in a lot of his movies, but they wanted to turn it into glue. So he took it. So now he's struggling to survive. But at the same time, it's a sweet movie, just like most of the modern, we'll be talking about this with the next movie we talk about as well. With these modern Chinese movies, it's the kitchen sink. It's all these new young filmmakers, and dozens of these. Our good buddy Ian Powers told me that hundreds of these movies are being made in China now for streaming. And I got to alert everybody out there, because you can go onto your TV or your computer or your phone, and you can download what I call the IQ app. IQIYA. I don't. Yeah. Frank knows how to pronounce that correctly. I just call it IQIE. And it's as big as Netflix, but all Chinese product, and some other Asian product, but mostly Chinese product in every imaginable genre, and dozens, if not hundreds of them. It is an incredible website, and it's available now to us TikTokers or us iMackers or whatever, smartphoners. And I highly recommend it, especially if you love Kung Fu films or martial art movies. Well, you can watch Ride On Haya, on the Haya streaming service, Well Go USA streaming service, which is a division of Amazon Prime. You can go right to the App Store and look up Haya and download it. I don't know if we still have the reduction, but I imagine you can still get the first month free. They'll probably have it right on Amazon. Yeah. There's so many good movies. My friends who are making the documentary about me, they come over earlier in the week, and I showed them Eye for an Eye, The Blind Swordsman, and it's better the fourth time.
Nice.
right on Haya. The Kung Fu Stuntmen documentary, the Swordsman movie, and the upcoming film, the one I'm about to talk about, The Comeback.
Yes, I saw the trailer for this, and I saw the cast, and I was like, I was excited, but I have not seen it yet. So how was it?
It was a hoot and a half.
A hoot and a half.
That's why, or let's say 4 hoots. It's 2 hoots up. What it is,
Okay.
it's a Simon Yam movie. Simon Yam stars in it. Simon Yam produced it. This is clearly him. It's like everybody, Wu Jing and Donnie Yen both had to figure out how they could work with a new normal in China. And so now all the Hong Kong stars are beginning to go, well, we can't get away from it. We are, we have to work with them. Let's figure out how we can work with them practically. So The Comeback, it is goofy. It is exciting. It is, what's the opposite of goofy? It's everything. It's all the yin yangs, but it's extremely entertaining. That's a shot right there.
All right.
That'll tell you a lot. And also, that's Andy on the right. That's Simon Yam on the left. And they go at each other, and there's kids in it. There's gangs in it. It's got 3 or 4 different plots. It keeps moving around. It keeps changing. And I like to fast forward to the fights. I didn't fast forward to the fights in this, although there are plentiful. There are many fights in this. That's one of the reasons I didn't fast forward. Another reason is that every time I didn't get bored.
Okay.
It just kept switching stuff up.
Yeah.
And examine the fights, because they're not they don't have the money or the time. And Simon, and also in addition to Simon, we have Norman Chu, who was I just remember he was the Bastard Swordsman. He's famous for being the Bastard Swordsman. He's in this movie, and of course Yun Hua, the great Yun Hua, who's Kung Fu Hustle, and Shang-Chi for that matter. He was in that as well, along with Michelle Yeoh. They're all in this, so it's kind of like a bunch of Hong Kong stars get together and said, let's have some fun, but let's have some exciting fun. So, and watch, and it's very important. It's very satisfying ending, but it's not over there. This is one of the few Chinese martial art. It's a martial arts, but it's also got Kung Fu, and it's also got action. It's got everything because of all these great guys.
Yeah.
It also has a post-credit sequence.
Oh, thanks for telling us.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I almost turned it off, and then suddenly it showed up and I went, oh, nice.
All right. The Comeback. Simon Yam versus Andy On. Let's go.
Yeah. So, Andy On versus everybody.
Oh, sweet. Even better.
But he's the villain. Simon Yam's the hero, and they're great. It's just both. It's great.
All right. What's going on, Egg Shen? Good to see you. Yeah.
Hey, Egg Shen. So now we get off of Haya. We got more great Haya stuff on next month, including Baby Assassins 2, which we'll talk about next month. But definitely check out the Haya or the Welgo site, because they have a big giveaway with new Haya beanies and Haya backpacks.
All right.
And all sorts, and a new Haya and a new Welgo shirt. So definitely check that out, because they're giving them away, but they're not giving them away. It's a contest.
Right.
So check out the contest, because by the time we review Baby Assassins next month, the contest may have been over. Okay. Next, we're jumping on to Disney Plus. Disney Plus is still trying to figure out what they're doing. They're still working feverishly on all their sequels and their follow-ups, but we have one bit of Star Wars properties to talk about this month, and that's Bad Batch Season 3. This is very, very... My issue with this, I've enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I enjoy everything Dave Filoni does. Dave Filoni is a Star Wars scholar, and he also cares so much that he's not going to screw us over with nonsense like the last couple of Star Wars movies. So Bad Batch is good, but my problem is now, especially in this age of AI, I'm telling all you guys that the animated movies that are going to come out next year, It's going to be a whole new world with AI now. Going to be a whole new world. And so what's weird about the only thing that I have a problem with Bad Batch, very dense storytelling, very serious storytelling.
Okay.
But remember, animation is two major things. One is the design, and one is the actual animation, the way they move. And here, this is written extremely well. It's not written for a cartoon. It's written for a serious Star Wars movie. But because they've established this style in the earlier times before Disney bought Lucasfilms, the style of the animation does not fit the show at all anymore, I think.
Okay.
And do you have a picture from it? You can put the poster back up. Yeah. Again, this should be much more three-dimensional. This should almost be real, because the script is super realistic and dramatic and involving. And this animation is kind of like literally two-dimensional. And it really should be more. And it also, whenever I see the characters, put that back up. One of the things that Pixar and Disney has worked years on is the hair. They worked for years and years, and the fur on their monster characters and Monster Inc. and stuff. And it's super real. All this stuff looks like plastic when you watch the show. Everything looks like plastic. And it's like, no, it just doesn't. The style does not match the content.
Gotcha.
Still excellent content, though. So I'm looking forward to them, stop living in the past. It's kind of like the way I feel about the way everybody treats Bruce Lee now, which is let's keep him back to his 1970. Let's keep him in his 1973 self. And I'm going to be talking more about that pretty soon, as a matter of fact. And I go, move on, move forward, get better. Don't just keep the same old thing. I understand why they're doing it, because all the media now is trying to figure out what the future is. So I understand why they want to latch on to whatever succeeds and just repeat it endlessly.
Right.
But for me personally, I don't think that's the way to go, but I'm not doing that stuff. All right. So Bad Batch 3 recommended. I recommend that you maybe first start watching it, then close your eyes and then just listen to the script and the sound effects. Imagine that it's a radio show or a podcast. Then open your eyes and see if you agree with me. We're going, yeah, the animation doesn't match it.
Yeah.
The animation should be better.
All right.
But anyway, but still worthwhile.
Okay. Copy that.
Next, we're going to Amazon.
All right.
And this is the code for February. February used to be the place where all the studios put all the shows they want, put all their dead shows and all their dead movies. This is where movies and television shows went to die. This is where studios and networks put the stuff that they thought would fail. But because of the pandemic and because of the strikes, they can't afford to do that. They've got to find out a way to make money, both in theaters and on television. So all the stuff now is what I talked about. They're all rehashes of things that had been successful before. And they're putting those out now because that's what they have available to them. Because the bigger stuff is still being made. I mean, tomorrow when Dune 2 comes out, and we talk about Dune 2 next month, then hopefully we might be able to save the movie theaters, because we'll want to go to the movies to see these big movies. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is very, very interesting. Have all of you seen the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie?
It's been a while.
They were the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who were two spies, or no, in that case, they were two assassins married together.
Right.
This one are two spies who are put together and go undercover as a married couple. And it is also a Donald Glover production. Donald Glover stars in it, directed it, co-wrote it, and produced it. It is his. So Donald Glover is sort of like TV's version of Jordan Peele. He's trying to take stuff that is familiar and revolutionize it. And so Mr. and Mrs. Smith is really, oh, wait a minute, we got a message from Jen. I know you probably already saw, what did Jen say? Hold on. Because she was supposed to be on the show. I know you probably already saw it, and this is no special LLO, but this is where we are tonight. Oh, so they're somewhere else. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna find out where they are tonight. I have to use my phone.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No problem.
Okay. It's 2. They're at Dune Part 2.
Figures. It figures.
At Dune Part 2. Then I'm gonna have to say, then you'll have to review it with us next month! Exclamation point. And I should put a little Rick shaking his fist at them, but I'll do that after we finish. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it's Donald Glover. He's trying to do it. It is, as usual, because Amazon and Netflix want to stretch these stuff out. So yes, this is like 6 or 8 episodes, hour each. But I tell you, he keeps switching stuff up. He never lets me go. There are periods where I'm just going, And the last 2 episodes, they recreate the showcase of Jen just said yes, 3 exclamation points. So
All right.
next month.
Cool.
They have the last 2 episodes has some amazing on-location shooting in New York City. Amazing on-location shooting. I don't know how they got permission to do this. I don't know if they got permission to do it. And then they recreate the knockdown, drag-out fight that Pitt and Jolie had in the original movie, which was a highlight, was the showpiece. And I was very impressed with this fight.
Okay.
And it's worth seeing. It is too long, but it's got a charming and interesting quirkiness about it. And that fight, I would watch it. I may go back and just watch that fight again. The last 2 episodes with that on-location shooting in New York. They have on-location shooting throughout, but not these wild chase scenes through New York. How did they get permission to do this? And the big final fight between the 2 of them. And it becomes an analysis of what marriage is, it's deep. It's got levels.
Okay.
I can recommend it, and the action too.
So we should next look forward to Donald doing a TJ Hooker reboot.
Hey, just like Jordan Peele, I'll watch anything he does. Did you see Atlanta? Did you see Atlanta that he did his show on the?
It's been a while. I watched a few episodes.
Again,
he's good. He's talented. Yeah.
He's and he's different. He's given freedom. So now let's go from
The big
Amazon.
one. The big one. Well, the first big one.
Well, the most interesting one for me, I was instantly activated when I saw the title. This is now we're on Netflix. We've gone over to Netflix.
Right.
And I saw the title House of Ninjas. S on the end, and I went. See, I wrote 12 Ninja Master novels. These are still my best-selling books. There were 250,000 of these, and these are both. This is the first. Actually, where's my other hand? Yeah, this is the first of the year of the Ninja Master, which was 4 books. This is the first of the War of the Ninja Master, which was also 4 books. It's 4 big, thick books. Each of them about 300 pages long. And so I studied ninja in Japan, not from people who had a ninja school, but actual ninja scholars, because I really hated what they did with ninja around the world. Especially, Golan Globus did Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja and turned the ninja into this cheap joke. And I was into Shinobi no Mono and Kaga no Gundam, the Japanese stuff, which was historical ninjas. So I found the fact they're using ninjas, plural, because the plural of ninja is ninja. It's not, we don't have an S on the end. But then I watched the show and I said, okay, I get what they're doing now. Because the show is made in Japan, Japanese cast, has a lot of Japanese in the crew. However, the creator of the show, the director, and the writer is not Japanese. It's a gentleman named Dave Boyle, who hasn't worked in a long time. His last major job was in 2014. So I was going, what's this all about? And then I'm watching it. Yeah, well, you should, because what he's done, I thought what he did was very interesting. If it were me, because I did the research, and if you read the books, and they're still available, although I believe there is one very hard to find, I think the third in this series of the 4 books in this series, I think it's up to like $800 because you can't find it anywhere, at least on the last time we checked on Amazon.
Yeah.
He decided, and I think very wisely, not to do what I wanted him to do, which is show ninja in the modern day the way the ninja would actually be, or the way the ninja actually are. Because the ninja could still be around. Certainly, whenever I mention Mosha, which are the Chinese predecessors to the ninja, to anybody Chinese, they get very quiet and they don't look directly at me. So I get the impression from them that the Mosha still exists. I would not be at all surprised if they did. Ninja, I don't know. However, if the ninja did exist, they would be authentic ninja, which is not guys in this outfit, not guys with swords. They would be invisible. Ninjutsu is the art of invisibility. That's what it historically is.
Right.
But what they did on this show, which they took the classic ninja, I love that there was a moment, because they have the ninja families, because it used to be the Koga and the Aigo, and they have ninja families, and somebody in the ninja family calls the female ninja, which is usually called kunoichi, calls them ninja. She said, "Are you a ninja?" And she goes, "Don't call me a ninja. I'm shinobi." And I'm going, good, nice, shinobi no mono. Ninja. All right. So I see what you're doing. And then I realized as I watched it more and more, he's combining it all. He's taking East and West, combining them. He's taking old and new ninja, combining them. Old, classic, and modern Japanese cinema, combining it. The only problem I had with it, there are plentiful fights, but they're all fights. Show that picture again. Show the ninja picture. They're all fights like this. And on one hand, that's cool. You know, that's samurai fighting, that's ninja fighting.
Yeah, I'm here for this. Like, you know me.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But it's not real ninja fighting. It's classic old ninja fighting. And these are modern ninjas. This takes place in the near future. So they wouldn't be running around with stupid swords, wearing stupid masks. But I understand why they're wearing stupid masks, because they didn't have a lot of cast members. So again, it's all the same stunt people,
right,
over and over again in every fight.
That's how you do it.
And also, you're able to put a stunt guy in the suit to portray the actual fighter. So there's a lot of sword play in it, a lot of sword play.
Okay.
But I wanted them to fight the way I believe real ninja would fight, which is, again, very sneaky, very smart. But instead, this is, again, the Netflix, the Amazon, and even the movie guys are looking for all you badasses.
Yes.
Because you're the majority. I always say, my friend Kate always calls me a market share of 1. And they're not looking for me. I want smart ass. I want wise ass. They're not going to do that. But House of Ninja is worth watching.
All right.
It's interesting because it's a combination of it all.
It's got a little bit for everyone.
And I believe next month or soon or later this year, Netflix is going to do a new version of Naruto, which is another warping of the ninja concept. Naruto, of course, is all these kid ninjas who go to the ninja school. Yeah. And it's like Riverdale, except with ninja. And
they're doing a live action?
I believe so. And speaking of Netflix live action adaptations.
Hold on, before you get started.
Yes.
This is even the bigger one we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it, but all I'll say is this.
Yes.
When the trailer dropped for this, okay,
yes.
Everybody was losing their mind because visually they were like, "Oh man, the characters actually look like the characters. They're pronouncing the characters' names correctly. The special effects look amazing." This is like everyone's going crazy because they still have the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's, bad taste in their mouth. So when this trailer dropped for this show, everyone was going crazy.
Yep.
Lady Fat Blood is a huge fan of the series. Huge fan. When the trailer dropped, I sent it to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her response, because I was like curious what she thinks about the trailer. Like she might go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to her, and her response was, "I'm not watching it." And I said, "Well, why not? Look, it looks awesome. I mean, look, the visuals, look, the characters look like the characters look." And she goes, "Because live action anime, especially on Netflix, besides One Piece, doesn't really turn out right." And so she was just kind of really hesitant to watch it. And from what I'm hearing, Lady Fat Blood dodged a bullet. But Rick, what did you think about
Well, again, I blame you effing badasses.
it? It's our fault.
It is very much your fault.
Okay.
Here's the situation.
All right.
Yes, there are two words that I used for Avatar. One of the words was pretty.
Okay.
Pretty, because great cast, terrific cast, really great production values, really beautiful photography. It's very pretty. Look at that cast. That cast is awesome. And then the other word I use is dark.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to know about the new Netflix Avatar is that originally, like One Piece, the creators of the original animated show were involved in the production of the live action.
Okay.
There's two, and then there was a moment where Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, who I've met, and we ran across the hall at San Diego Comic-Con and embraced each other after the M. Night Shyamalan one came out, and we all cried on each other's shoulders. So I know these guys, and they're incredibly honorable. Well, they walked away from the production.
No.
They were involved in the production, they walked away from it, saying, this is not what we created. Then the guys who were doing it, which is Albert Kim, predominantly, he went public with, we are trying to attract the Game of Thrones crowd.
Oh God.
And my attitude, it's like Albert.
Yes.
Albert was was told to do an adaptation of Bambi, and turned it into Godzilla. So on the one hand, and also I've had a reaction to my reviews, which is that if you haven't seen and don't love the animated version,
you'll probably be fine.
You'll probably be fine.
Right.
But it is a bummer. This is a bummer. It is dark. And the thing that bothers me as a writer is the scripting is terrible. The scripting is all the characters don't show you who they are. They tell you who they are.
Right.
They don't show you who they are. They tell you who they are over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's some of the weakest, lamest writing. Everybody's, and you know, we go from action scene. And on the other thing, you can guess why. I've mentioned this many times. One of my biggest problems with modern fight scenes, especially of Kung Fu, and make no mistake, Avatar, The Last Airbender is pure Kung Fu. It is not martial arts. The problem is that everybody has limited knowledge. It's all the Bruce Lee fans. They know what Bruce Lee is like from what Bruce was like in 50 years ago. They don't know what Bruce would have become. They just keep him back in 1972. It's 1973. And so what happens is that it's the same thing. Kung Fu Panda 1, pure Kung Fu. Kung Fu Panda 2, no Kung Fu in it. All bad martial arts by people who had extremely limited knowledge. Same thing with Avatar. They have changed the Kung Fu of the original Avatar into martial arts and crude martial arts and ignorant martial arts. And, you know, you can imagine how delighted I was. So it's a shame. Yeah, if you can separate yourself from that stuff, if all you martial art badasses out there want another show, I have a better show to recommend to you.
Yeah.
And thankfully that exists right now, so you
Right,
don't
right,
have
right.
to watch Avatar if you don't want to.
Right.
I'm hoping that the reaction to Avatar is such that they bring Michael and Brian back and a second season do an authentic job.
Right. Right. Kevin,
Yeah.
this you know Berserk is my stuff. You know Berserk is my shit. I think it's impossible. It's literally impossible to do Berserk in live action because it's too graphic. It's too trigger warning. They can't.
I know.
For today's modern audiences, no way. There's no way in hell they could do a live action Berserk. No way.
I'll check it out. I would say if A24 or one of the horror guys got it,
No.
I don't think there'd be a problem.
It's too much. Berserk, the stuff that visually they show in Berserk,
Yeah.
it makes A24 look like Disney. It's not even close.
Well, all right. It would have to be more than visual, because any given episode of Rick and Morty is pretty wading in blood. So, but be that as it may, I'll leave that to you. I'll check it out and see what I think. Now let's go on to what everybody should have done.
Okay.
Which is Shogun.
Yes.
This is the way I think people should do remakes and reboots. You should treat your remake or your homage the way Jackie Chan did. Jackie Chan saw Bruce Lee and he said, well, okay, I see what Bruce is doing. What can I do to do a different approach to that same subject matter and surprise people and delight people? And that's why Jackie became a superstar, because he did the opposite of Bruce. And what Shogun did, which certainly Iron Fist didn't do, which is take the actual book, James Clavell's awesome book, and adapt it the way it's written, not the way Tom Cruise did The Last Samurai, which suddenly made it all about the white boy. This is a show about Japanese history.
Okay.
And it's done very authentically. And of course, it stars one of the greats of all time, the last great samurai, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yes.
Who I knew him back in the day when he was working with Sonny Chiba. And it's written and produced and directed at times by Rachel Kondo and Justin Marks. And Justin Marks, unlike the guys who did Avatar, the Albert Kim, he did Nikita television show and Sleepy Hollow television show, which is not too good. But the Shogun guy, Justin Marks, he did Top Gun Maverick. So he knows how to do his action. He's the one who's doing Shogun. And it's pretty authentic. It doesn't have limited knowledge, and it's just beautifully done.
Nice.
And it's not a white boy fuck up. But speaking of white boy fuck ups,
I know your thoughts on The Last Samurai, but did you at least like the ninja attack? The ninja attack at the party scene in that movie?
I don't even
remember.
I don't even remember it, because it was movie ninja. It wasn't real ninja.
Okay,
because if the ninja had attacked in real life, you wouldn't have known. That's the whole trick of ninja, the art of invisibility. People would be dropping dead all over the place, and nobody would know why. And then we could have gone back, the scene, and you would have seen a waiter going by, a dancer going by, and you would see them do something, you would see them do something, you would see them do something, but nobody else would see it. That's ninja.
Putting poison in the sake.
Putting grease on the floor. One of the great stories of ninja. This is one of the things I was inspired by. I think I may have mentioned it in one of the books, which is, this is actually what a ninja did. A ninja had to create fear in his victims.
Right.
So he went to the castle where he was going to go in and get the warlord at some point. And he watched it for a month, and he saw where the moon was and how the moon changed. And so one day he dug a hole, and he got a whole bunch of ash from a fire, and he put ash in the hole. He made a hole that was large enough to fit a person, and covered the hole with ash, filled it with ash, and then watched the moon, the way the moon. And there was one night where the full moon made a circle on the ground like a spotlight, like a heavenly spotlight, right next to where he built the hole. And he came out in his ninja garb, and all the guards up on the castle, the mansion, was going, "Oh, look, it's an Aiga ninja." And he waited until they all did, and they were all pointing, and everybody came over to look. And then as they were watching, he took one step to the side, and he disappeared in a puff of smoke. That was the ash. He stepped into and made a smoke. And so then throughout the castle, everybody's going, "Oh my God, the Aiga ninja can disappear in a puff of smoke. Oh my God, oh my God." So they were complete. There's another great story where a guy was infiltrating, and he dug in order to dig into the foundation, he brought a bag of raw rice. And he ate the raw rice and never came out from the hole. He just kept digging, just kept digging, just kept digging. And when he finished the bag of rice, then he knew he was underneath, and then he was able to go up. This is what the real ninja did in order to infiltrate. And also a very famous story where the soldiers were chasing a ninja, and there was a bunch of old people coming down the street. The ninja ran into the old people, and all the soldiers went in. They didn't find him because he had turned into an old person. This is what real ninja did, and I love that stuff. So I kept on hoping they would do that crap. But Shogun's authentic, and I have yet to see the thing that ruined the original Shogun show with Richard Chambliss for me, which was when the Shogun took it, or the warlord took his sword, it stuck into a thing, and then the blade broke. Only ninjas' blades break, because only ninja got the inferior swords.
Right. Yeah.
So all right, enough about this. Let's go on.
Shogun's legit. All right.
Shogun's really great. Now
Rick, did you know about this? The creators of Avatar have their own studio, and they're doing another show.
Yes, I've known about that, and I've been waiting for it. And I was hoping, I think they delayed all that because of this stupid show. They got stabbed in the back, but Amazon is happy.
That's always a good sign,
because enough people have reacted well to it. But I don't know. Let's see if it's a drop off of viewers. If more viewers come to it, then they've really paid off. If all the viewers drop off after they've seen it, then that's another deal.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of stupid white guys, now we're leaving Netflix and going to the movie theater.
Okay.
This movie, I've already mentioned the genre of this movie. The genre, not tonight, but on previous episodes.
Yeah.
Where I was going, I like sex movies. I don't like jack-off movies. Two beautiful people having sex, all sorts of different stuff,
It's fun.
Whatever. Yeah, bondage, sadomasochism, feet, whatever your fetish is. I don't mind any of that. I appreciate that. But watching a director jack off and look at the camera and go, huh? Look at this, huh? Aren't I clever? Aren't I smart? Aren't I cool? No. Argylle is one of the most masturbatory movies I've ever seen. You see, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is really pretty cool, and the comeback is really pretty cool. It's got everything but the kitchen sink. This also has everything but the kitchen. This has the kitchen sink, but none of it is used correctly. None of it. It's all like, clever, huh? Aren't I smart? Isn't this smart? Isn't this witty? Isn't it? Oh, I get to do whatever I want. And it's like, no, none of this makes sense. None of this is entertaining. All of this is insulting.
Yeah.
It's all just like, but then again, I've been expecting this from Matthew Vaughn, because even the last Kingsman movie, and this is in the Kingsman universe.
It is?
Yeah, yes, at the end of the movie they have I think it's the end credit sequence. It's somewhere in there, but yeah, they connect it up to the Kingsman,
Right.
and it's like,
Oh God. I
but it's
heard.
terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
I heard that it was like the
Yeah.
female version of the Kingsman, but
Yeah,
it's
but
in the
insulting.
universe.
It's
Oh,
insulting.
gotcha.
But I didn't like the last Kingsman movie either. The last one, I think, one that had Elton John in it.
Kingsman. Yeah.
The old one, the one that takes place at the
Right.
beginning
The
of the history.
prequel. Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn. Yeah, again, that's a great example. That's why I sent you that picture. That's a great example of where this movie goes. Again, great cast,
Right.
but they're at the mercy of just what's the English term? It's something to something by half. But whatever, it's just
It's poppycock.
it's more. It's no, it's masturbatory. So your cock does pop. It is popping cock.
Welcome back
true.
to another spicy episode of Action Film Autopsy here.
Spicy Santa.
Spicy
Secret Santa.
I like that. Spicy Santa.
Hey,
Oh.
I tell it like it is. I found no other way to describe this movie.
Right.
It's so insulting. I mean, it's like you go to the movie theater and you get squirted in the face, and it's like, what the fuck? Man, come on.
Oh, it
Be
sucks
nice to me.
because Matthew Vaughn's so good. It's just kind of
I disagree.
What's happening?
I disagree. I mean, I remember I semi-liked one of his movies, but did he do Baby Driver too?
No, that
was somebody else.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I haven't enjoyed Matthew Vaughn stuff because he's lost control.
I think Kingsman 2 was the beginning of the downfall.
I agree. I think, and I didn't like the original Kingsman that much either, especially the ending.
Oh,
where the hero just sort of goes, whatever.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, I actually almost tried to go see this in theater, but I couldn't. I didn't have the time. So good thing I missed it.
And another hint here is that the screenwriter of Argylle is Jason Fuchs, who also wrote Ice Age, Continental Drift, and the choreographer was Guillermo Crispo, who did Kingsman, Shang-Chi, Second Unit. He did Solo, so you know the quality of the fighting there, and Batman v Superman and Riddick. So Argylle was not a happy place for me.
Yikes! All right, pass on that one.
And now
the big one, the biggest of all the biggest,
the mystery,
forget Shogun.
Forget the comeback. Forget Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Forget all the good stuff.
It is time. Rick,
here we go.
How was the Web of Madam? Was it Webbin time? Was it Madam time?
Actually, it was Webbin time because, as I said, I believe last time, I love because I'm more than just Spicy Santa. I'm also Sherlock Santa. I like to be Sherlock Sifu Sherlock. When a movie like Madam Web shows up, it's a mystery to me.
Yeah.
I'm going, to borrow the name of a podcast, how did this get made?
Right.
I want to know, I want to solve the mystery.
How did this happen? Yes.
How did this is a knowingly bad movie. It was kind of like I was reminded of Diamonds Are Forever and Star Trek VI. In that, I watched both those movies and I knew something was wrong by the way they dressed the star. The wardrobe for Captain Kirk in Star Trek VI, who he was directing the movie. I told my friends I was seeing the movie with, I said, you can always tell when a crew doesn't like an actor because they light him badly, they dress him badly, whatever, because those are the obvious things. And it's the same thing they did with Sean Connery in Diamonds Are Forever. I mean, he did it to himself. He was doing that on purpose. He had a double chin. His wig was the worst one he ever wore in the series. And the costumes were all too short and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yes, Sony is just trying to keep the rights for Spider-Man. But the question is, they don't have to do it really, really poorly. I mean, this one was, again, this movie was kind of like the producers kind of pulling the curtain back, the Wizard of Oz pulling the curtain back, looking at the audience and going, "Fuck you." Really? No, no, we're not kidding. Really? Fuck you guys. We hate you. We hate the subject matter, and we're going to treat you the way we think you deserve to be treated.
Oh.
Madam Web, nobody who worked, again, very handsome actors. And I mean, they had, S.J. Clarkson. This is what, you see something like Artemis Fowl on Disney Plus. That was directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Right.
S.J. Clarkson directed and co-wrote Madam Web. What you see on the screen is not what she directed, is not what she wrote, but she is helpless because of her contract for whatever. She has to take whatever they do to her. They went into a wonderful dear friend of mine, the late Mike Robb, had a wonderful bunch of comic book stores called the Dream Factory. And he created one in Norwalk, Connecticut. It was wonderful. He started spreading out, but then he went into partnership with another businessman. And that businessman was there for one reason and one reason only, which was to get Mike's child, the Dream Factory, and fuck it to death. And I described it to him. What he did was he created a corporate situation where Mike was trapped on the other side of a window. And while he was on the other side of the window, the guy who picked up his child and started killing it in front of his eyes. That's what Madam Web was. I would love to have seen the faces of the stars. Well, you can kind of see the faces of Dakota Johnson. All her interviews afterwards, she looks like she's been hit in the face with a fish.
Yeah.
All her interviews, she looks like she's a zombie. And the movie, again, the thing is, the villain is so badly dubbed. Every single one of his lines. Yes, the film was not changed a lot. It was disemboweled.
Yeah.
The whole movie was disemboweled. They've redubbed all the villain's line with bad dubbing, with the worst Godzilla dubbing ever, with a voice that doesn't fit his face at all.
Oh, God.
The whole thing was just a mess. So I started doing my detective work.
Mm-hmm.
I got in touch with my buds. Because as I told you, I was on the set of Superman. I was on the set of Alien. I was on the set of Moonraker. I was on a bunch of places. I met, I wasn't on the set. I was with the whole crew of Moon. But anyway, so everybody, when you work on English movies, you know everybody in the whole film industry. And so I was asking them. And what happened, I remembered a very an important moment at the San Diego Comic-Con. And when one of the choreographers of G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra came to me and said, "You should have seen the fight scenes we designed, trained the actors in, and edited. You should have seen it before the end of the production. You should have seen our first cut."
You talking about Snake Eyes?
No, we're getting to Snake Eyes. We're getting to Snake Eyes.
Sorry, Samaria.
No, we're talking G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Gotcha.
That was the fight with the two women, with the villain
right.
women. Yeah.
Scarlet and
originally that fight scene, according to this choreographer, who's because you knew me from the Kung Fu Extravaganza, told me it was genius. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Wow.
And then I saw the final cut and I was going, what did they do to my child? And then I looked up who produced G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. And I noticed the same producer also produced Transformers Rise of the Beasts, also produced Snake Eyes, also produced Meg 2, and he also produced Doom Annihilation. Guess what else he produced? Madam Web. This, I'm not going to mention a name, but this person is famous for taking these finished films and cutting them to shit. I mean, Snake Eyes had Kenji Tanedaki doing the choreography.
Yeah.
It was unrecognizable from his work. And Madam Web now comes out this way, produced by this gentleman.
And plus, it probably doesn't hurt or help that the screenwriter did Morbius as well.
Well, that's right, but it's
that
all
didn't help.
They were probably hired by this producer.
Right. Yeah. Gods of Egypt is a masterpiece, Geeky Andre.
Madam Web is at least Madam Web is at least entertaining.
Is it?
Yes, because there's no way to watch that movie without this expression. What is going on? And also feeling for the actors. The actors are lovely. Look at all those lovely, lovely actors. And they if you look pardon the expression, they were fucked over.
Yeah.
This was done by one of these old school guys. Because I've seen this throughout the history of filmmaking, which is we have to prove that women can't open an action movie. We have to prove it. We have to show that women can't do it. So we're able to say, remember that thing that I've heard producers say this in Hollywood. I've heard people talk into Jackie Chan's face. I heard a guy insult an Oscar-winning black actor with the N-word. I mean, and these are major producers. So this guy is an old school producer who I think just fell into the usual thing that we have to prove that women can't open an action movie. So we will sabotage the film afterwards. It's really, I was hoping,
why does that only happen here?
I don't think it only happens here, but it happens mostly here. I mean,
you have movies like The Heroic Trio. That was a hit when that came out. But here it's Birds of Prey, it's the Marvels.
Well, English speaking. Remember the culture, because I'm not limiting it to America. There's also some of this stuff going on in England as well. Okay. But not as egregious.
Right.
I mean, we have these old school guys here. This is what remember, Hollywood was originally run by women. They were mostly the writers and the directors of the stuff in the silent age before men took over. And also in my book, Night Demons, I researched the history of vampires and found out all the major vampires at the beginning were women as well, until male writers started writing about the vampires and eliminated all the women vampires. And it makes sense if you think about it that the women would be the vampires. So
copy that.
So that's a tragedy. Yeah.
Rick has done his research. That's right. Sherlock Holmes it. So now you guys know. Now you know why this was destroyed from within.
And also,
it is not because of Rick's research.
Yeah.
So it is not the fault of every man on the planet that this movie bombed. So stop saying that.
Just one
Rick
man.
is the proof.
Just one man.
Yeah.
The woke people, and believe me, this guy ain't woke.
Yeah.
And the people who do this to movies ain't woke. I mean, you make a great movie, you'll be fine. But also, at this point in time, I believe this guy does it for his own ego.
Amusement.
Yeah, his own ego. As Orson Welles says, it's not about money, it's about ego. But at the same time, what happened to Disney before the CEO came back?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're being paid by other studios. I would not be surprised in the slightest to sabotage.
It's sad. And what else was interesting was I thought, I heard, I don't know if you could confirm it, but some of the actresses thought that this was an MCU project. That's why they signed the contract. Like, yeah, we want to be a part of this. They didn't even know that this was like a Sony Marvel project.
No, they'll do what Sony always does when they do this, which is it's like Spider-Man No Way Home. It's like Spider-Man Across the Universe, across the metaverse. You see, those are also Sony movies.
Right. Yeah.
So of course, No Way Home is one of the best comic book movies ever made, as is Across the Spider-Verse.
Right.
The two of those are great. So yeah, if they came to me and said it's like that, I'd go, okay, give me the contract. That's fine. But then they'd have to read the contract, and if the
Right.
contract says,
Yeah.
because watching these women, they're doing great promotions. The same thing. All the Avatar guys, all the Avatar actors are doing wonderful promotion for the show, for the movie too.
Yeah.
And but they're not. They don't look like they're stunned. They don't look like they're hit in the face with fishes.
Deer in the headlights.
Yeah, they look very. They actually look quite happy. So
Well,
I
good
wish
for them. Good.
I wish them the best, and I wish my Avatar guys the best if they are actually going to do another show.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Oof.
But we got
rough.
tomorrow. We got Dune 2.
There you go. Wow, we actually finished and a little bit over an hour. I'm surprised.
Well,
we're always like an hour and a half.
Well, that's because we had more movies in January. We'll probably be over an hour and a half next month too, because we have more movies. We've got Damsel coming up on Netflix. And
we gotta ask Jen. We gotta ask Jen what she thinks of Avatar when she comes on the show next month.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
I can't wait to hear what she has to say. I'm looking forward to what she has to say.
There you go.
There you go. Dune 2 and Shogun in the same week is incredible. Look at that. Yeah, copy that.
It's nice.
There are great movies out there and great content. You just got to know where to
Well, I haven't seen Dune 2 yet, but I have seen Shogun, and yeah, it's worthwhile.
So Frank's going to want to be here to talk about Dune 2. Come on, Frank.
Definitely, man. Yeah. We'll have Jen, Miko, and Frank.
Yeah, for sure.
This
was an awesome blast as always.
Another
spicy episode. Yeah, we're gonna do the Ric recap. The Ric recap for all you people that came late. Thanks again for popping in and watching. But here's a quick recap of Ric's thoughts. What he thought of Ride On. We're gonna start with Ride On. Ric, what do you give Ride On?
I will give Ride On I'll give it this. It's okay. Well, let me get the shot.
There you go. There you go.
I'll do it with this hand.
I'll give it this.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid. But I'm friends with Jackie, so
all right.
I like it.
Oh, look at he's rubbing it in. All right, here we go. Next up, the comeback. All right. The Bad Batch. Do it.
It's I can't get over the visuals.
Okay.
It's my fault.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
The last two episodes, definitely.
Okay.
The rest of it, interesting.
All right. I haven't seen it. I'm going to do this anyway. Stop wasting our time with great production values and amazing visuals
and terrible
scripts. You ruin the story and the characters. Stop doing this. It's pointless. It's pointless to even do any of this. House of Ninjas. All right. Again. All right. Yes.
Hold on, I have to wipe the stuff off my face. Oh, they got it in my beard. Ew. Very bad.
Oh my goodness.
Now, what am I going to do for? That one.
Already did that one already. Sorry.
What are we going to do with Madam Web?
You got to be honest. I get it. It's just it's not the actor's fault. But if it's destroyed from within, what are you going to do?
It's a terrible movie.
Yep.
It's an entertaining terrible movie.
Hopefully it's good bad, but we'll see. There was a versus request for Madam Web versus Morbius. I say let's have fun. Because it's too obvious the Morbius is going to win. It's like a landslide.
I say I'm probably not going to be on that
show. He's going to skip that one.
Yeah,
I say let's have fun. Madam Web versus Catwoman.
I want to talk about how something great is how something's great rather than how terrible it is. Yeah.
Look at that.
But next month's you at the beginning of the show you had a scene from one of the movies we're doing for next month's verses.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. If you guys are channel members, you're going to know already.
Next month's verses
what
is going to be tough.
Yeah, it's crazy. Next month's verses.
I
Fire.
usually know exactly which one I would choose. I still don't know.
Yeah, me too. Madam Web versus Electra. What did I start? What did I do? All right. Well, this was a blast. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, hanging out for another episode of Action Film Autopsy. Stay tuned for the next verses. That's right. Towards the end of the month of March. And it's good. Your brains are going to explode once you see the posting of what it is.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Follow Rick on Instagram. Check all the links below. Check out the store. If you enjoyed yourself today, I'm sure, I hope you did with all the spiciness today. You got to love it. You gotta
just
love
being
it.
honest.
You got to love it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. And I'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Movie Dojo podcast is back. We got more special guests on the way, especially even Saturday as well. And Samurai Guy's nonstop. I don't know. I might need a break. We'll see.
Treat yourself well.
Yes. Treat yourself well. Great advice from the Spicy Santa. All right, guys. Take care. See you on the next one.